Vista. Yes. Yes. On Saturday, we achieved this, and we said we continue to format the rest of the page. We start from using paragraph to the address of the 70 Chief of Belawa Street, Lagos. So now, let me try to bring up what we are trying to achieve. Let me see. I know I shared the image way back up there. Okay. Yes, this one. So this is what we are trying to achieve. So now if you compare this model with what we have done so far, it is glaring that we have done the 50, like 50% of the job. Because if you compare this upper part with what we have here, you will see that we have done 50% of it. So the next is one to indent this second this other section, to indent it inward. So maybe this should be like either 30 or 40 pixel margin here that we are going to apply. Then we are going to shift this address to this other side. Then we will break it into sections. Like if you look at what we currently have here, you will see that it's just one line address. So, but we will try now to break the single line into four different lines, and we now give it that green border there. So let us start. Let me clear the screen, then go back to the code. Now, think of my code. Let me close this one. I don't need this one. All right. So now the other part is from here. What happened? Okay. So this is the part we are trying to format today. Now, if you see this or the upper part of it, you will observe that we have done the formatting to why is this thing doing this? Is somebody writing on my board? Oh. Okay. So now for us to achieve what we have in the model here, we need to insert all this content into a sectioning element. And if you remember, the sectioning element are the div, the nav, the header, the main article sections, and so on and so forth, even the footer. If you look at this upper part, you will see that we inserted the H1 tag into the header sectioning element, and then the other part of it we inserted into the main sectioning element. Now I can now decide to say, okay, I want this to be inside the article element. So I'm going to place the this other part from the using paragraphs to the end, to this other, the last paragraph here, into the container of the article, right? So let me do that in the indentation there, then indent this other part so that my article will line up with its closing tag. Now, if we go back to the browser, you will not see any change whatsoever because it is just a sectioning element. Now, what we are trying to do now is to achieve this indentation here. And if you remember that um, when we talked about what's it called, the box model, everything is inside a box. If you want to create a space outside the box, you apply your margin. If you want to create a space inside within the border, right, you apply your padding. So this time around, we are going to apply margin because we want to push this box away from this edge. We want to push it inward. So what we do there is to apply a margin left because we are trying to attack the left hand side of it. So we are going to apply margin left. Let me clear the screen, then go to the to the code. Now, since I have enclosed everything inside the article, then I will go to the CSS, which is external to our HTML document. And if you remember, we linked our CSS using the link tag, right? So we are going to now target this at the article element. All I need to do is just copy it, then go to the CSS, then target the article. And what do I want to achieve there? I just need a margin left. Let me just say 30 pixels to see where that will lead us to. So let's go to the browser. Now you can see that it has shifted it inward. Let me see whether the extent of indentation is close to what we have in the model. Okay, I think it's a bit less. So let's give it a 40 pixel, 40 pixel margin there, margin left, and I believe that should suffice. Exactly. So now you can see now that we have achieved that. We have achieved this and it's now close to our model. Any question on that? Any question on that?
No, sir.
No.
No,
All
sir.
right. Good. Now we need to achieve this line down here, and that is very easy to achieve. Now, since I've enclosed this inside the article section element, all I need is to apply bottom border to that section element. So I will go back to the code. I will apply border bottom of I think 1.5 pixel, 1.5 pixel solid and black. So if you go back to the browser, you will see that it's already applied. But as you can see, it is not starting from this other side of it as compared to what we have here. Now, how do we achieve that? Very simple. It simply means that we are going to put the old article again into maybe another section element, but this time around, I will enclose everything inside a div. I will give it a div so that I can target that div element. I will enclose everything. Do my indentation properly. Then take this, format this one properly, because I want to see my opening div to align with his closing div. Similarly, the opening tag to align with his what? The closing tag. So that is done. Now, if I go back, you will not see any change. So what I will do now is that I will change. I will now remove the this border bottom out of here, and I will target. The div tag. So I'm going to write the div tag there. Excuse me, and I will write the border bottom property there. If you go back, you will see that it has now formatted to with reference to the body tag. Any question on how I achieve that? Any question? No question. Okay. Now, so this is the last part. Now, this also I'm going to put inside a sectioning element. And this time around, since it is the lowest part of the page, I can easily put that inside a footer sectioning element. So I will come here to my code, to the HTML. So I will enclose the address inside a footer sectioning element, like so. Then indent properly. Indent this one also. Okay. So this is in alignment with his closing tag, and similarly, this also is in alignment with his closing tag. Let's run, and you will see there won't be any change whatsoever. You can see no change. If you remember, section elements, if you do not apply your style to it, you won't see any change. So now, I need to break this address into sections. So I will say, I think, where is that model again? Okay, this one is ccube.com. Okay, I need to change that right there. Ccube. I need to put ccube here. Ccube.com. Then I will apply. Now, I want to ask, how do I break this address into different lines? How do I do that? Um, Joshua, Joshua,
Yes, uncle.
yes. How do I break this address into different line? I want it to be I want to achieve this format. If you look presently, right, our address is in a single line, right? But I want it to break, right, as shown in the model. You can see our address here is not in a single line. So how do I achieve this? Any idea?
So we use BR tag.
Yes.
tag.
You use the BR tag. Good. So let's go back to the code. Then we apply the BR tag. Right? So where else can I apply the BR tag? Looking at the model, where else? We have ccube.com, then we have 78 Chief Obelawo. So where else am I going to apply the BR tag? Is it after 78, between 78 and Chief, or is it between Chief and Obelawo, or between Obelawo and Street, or between Street and Lagos?
Up the street.
Street, right? Let's see. Let's see the model. No,
Mhm.
it's between Obelawo and Street. So which is here at this point. So we apply the BR tag right there. Then if you look at the street, the Lagos is on the next line. So we go back and apply the BR tag at that point. So if you go back to our browser, where is it? Why is this doing this? Okay. Now you will see that we've been able to achieve the line breaks. Any question on that? No question. Now the next thing is now to move the address to the far right hand side of the page. Now, how do I achieve that? Let me call somebody. Let me go to the code first. So let me see. Um, Feromi, do you have an idea?
Pardon?
The goal is to move this address to the far right, just as we have in our model. So how do we achieve that? Any idea?
Um, could you use the footer tag?
You said?
The footer.
Okay, the footer. Um, okay, good. The footer, huh? What happened to the footer?
I think you could use it to move it to right hand side. You can use it to move it to the right hand side.
Okay, good. So which property am I going to use?
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, so that we won't, because of our time. Now, if you remember, there is a property called,
Well, we can use align.
yes, align, but what kind of align? Because we have different types of align. What type of align?
Um,
You have, you, I believe you have access to internet there. You can easily Google it. See, let me stress this point. As as a programmer or developer, you are not expected to cram anything. You can easily go to your browser easily. Now, okay, um, move content content within HTML tag to the right. You can see it will give you suggestions. And this is exactly what we need. Test align, right? We need this property, test align, and the value is right. So all I need to do is I will go back to my code. Now, the content that we are trying to move is this address. And this address, whose content is it, is is a content of the footer. So the element I'm going to target is the footer. Why? Because the address is a content of the footer. So I will go to my CSS, write my footer there, then I will say test, move your content. I'm telling footer, move your content to the what? Far right. Let's see. Might be wrong. Let's see what this will give us. So go to the code and you can see it has gone to the far right. But now you can see that it has made this content to align by the right hand side, but we want it to align on the left. So what we do in that case is now to target the content of this address that we want it to be left hand side. So we copy this, excuse me, we copy this and come here and say test align left. Let us see what this will give us. Oh, it has gone back. That should not be. Hold on, let me see. Let's see. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let me remove this footer one and see what this will give me. Okay. So let me turn this to right. Let me see. Okay, exactly the same thing, the same thing. Okay, so let's see. Let me see. Address. Let me see. Float left. You can see that at times what you have in mind might not work, and hence you just need to play around with your code. Let me return the footer here. Okay, hold on. Address. Okay, hold on. This address goes to the what? Let me see. Goes to the right, have you? Oh, okay, I said left. Go to the right. Okay. Okay, so now you can see we have been able to achieve our goal. Any question on that? Now you can see that what I intended did not work out. This is what I always say. Don't think that everyone is one super being like that, right? Aha. One at once in a while, you will still need the internet. You need to visit the internet. In fact, you need to visit the what's it called, the Mozilla document, the MDN. Many things are there that we cannot even teach you in the class. What we are trying to achieve is we want to lay the foundation. And once you have the foundation, then you can start building on it on your own. You cannot do, or let me say, you cannot excel in this field without you spending time on your own on the documentation to study it. You need to study it. You need to look into the properties and the values and how they work and so on and so forth. You just need to do that, right? And that is the essence of what? Practicing. So is there any question on how this was achieved?
Could you repeat the steps again?
Okay, I should repeat the step for this.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you remember, initially, I tried to let me remove this, right? Now, we were at this stage, right? Now, and I tried to do something like test align to the right, but I did not achieve my desired goal. Why? Because the content of the address is kind of right aligned. Is not left aligned. If you compare that with the goal, look at the goal here. It is left aligned here, right? But if you look at our current state here, it's not left aligned, it is right aligned. So that now made me to go back to my code to look at it. Okay, I need to make it go to the right. What other property can I use to achieve that goal? So I immediately thought of the float. If you remember the float, right? We discussed the float. So I now applied float property on the address and I said float, float to the right. And that now actually gave me my desired goal. But if you look at our model, you will see that there is still a border here, a green border, right, which we still need to achieve, and that is very easy to achieve anyway. We go back and say, okay, I want to apply a border, on the left hand side. I want it maybe 2 pixel. I want it solid and I want it green in color. So if I do that, I go back and look at my browser, and you can see I'm I'm able to achieve that green color, but the thickness thickness is not up to what I have in the model. So I will go back to my to my code. I will increase the size of this to say 10 pixel, and I will look at it again. Is it up to level or is it too much? I will go back to the um to the requirement. I think it's too much. So I will go back to my code and I will reduce it, say, to maybe 6 pixel. Really, this is a judgment call. It depends on how you are viewing the the uh, the um the requirements. Now I will go back here. Okay, I think that is okay, right? So, but if you look at ours, you will see that our address is kind of too close to the border, unlike this address here. There's a space here, and I think there's a little space here, and also there's a space here, right? Unlike this one, you see ours, there's no space, and there's no space here. Now, how do we achieve that? So first, we can say, okay,
I'll empty it. Don't worry, I'll empty it.
so we can say we apply a margin.
I'll
If you
empty it.
remember, if you remember that margin, right? Let me say it again here. Margin creates space outside the border of an element, and it creates space um between two elements actually, right? But padding creates space within the between the border and the content within that element tag. So let us use that property now to achieve our desired goal. first, let us apply margin top here to push our address downward. So let's go back to the code. Where's the code there? So now we are still trying to target this address. So we go back to the CSS. We say, okay, give it a margin top of say 10 pixels. Let's see what that will give us. So let's go back to our browser. Okay, now we have a space here. You can see the space. Let us see our model. Yes. Is it the same? Let me see. Let me just compare. Yeah, I think it is the same, but we can still jack it up a bit to say 15 pixel. Let's see, 15 pixel. Okay. And we compare to the model. Yes, I think that is good enough. Now, the next thing is to push the address, the content away from the border and away from the body tag here. So what we do is to apply padding. We apply padding on the left and on the right hand side. Say, let's just say 10 pixel, and on the on the right also say 10 pixel, also 10 pixel. So let's go back. Now you can see that there's a space between the address and the border, and there's also a space here. Let us compare with what we have right here. Yes, I think we are okay with what we have achieved so far. So any question on how? Okay, now there's still one more. The address is what bolded here. You can see it's bolded, but in our case, it is not. So how do you achieve that? Go back to your code, go back to your HTML, and enclose everything. Everything. Let us see if the bold tag will achieve that for us. If not, we will use okay, let me use the strong tag instead, because this B tag is almost deprecated. So let us enclose everything inside the strong elements. Oh, okay, it has even done that. All right. So let us go back to our browser, and yes, there we have it. So any question? Any question?
No, sir.
So
No, sir.
good. So now if I give you this work again, can you achieve this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Fermi, you can achieve it. Okay, that's fine. Because I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give Fermi, Joshua, and Ifi, and Ademola. You are still going to do this again. The reason is this: you need to practice it, right? You are free to use the recording. Follow the recording, but try to do it yourself, because by doing so, you will have a better understanding of it, and you should know the reason why we are applying certain tags, know the reason why we are applying certain CSS property, right? So is there any other question before we go to the topic of today? Okay. No question. So I'm going to close this now.
Sir,
Yes.
how do I make the heading HTML essential training to be in the center?
In the center. Were you in the class on Saturday?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me quickly go over it. Um, Let me copy the address again. Now, I'm going to remove the styling, right? Because if I do not do that, you may not understand how it was done. Now, in the assignment, there was no tag at all. It was simply this, right? If I go back, you will see it in this format. So the first thing I did, since this is my heading, I first of all enclosed this inside an H1 tag. H1. Once you do something, first of all, write your code as I'm doing. For example, I've included, I just enclosed the HTML essential training inside the H1 tag. Once I have done this, I will go back to check, okay, let me go and remove the style. It's because of the style in there. Let me remove the style. Now, once I've done that, you can see that now I have my H1 element. Are you okay with this? Do you
Yes,
understand
sir.
that? Good. Now, if you go back to the model, you will see that the background of this HTML H1 heading is black, and the font is white. So I will now go back to the code. This time around, the style sheet. That is why I created this selector here. Remember, this is your selector, H1. You are trying to select this tag to style it. So I will target that tag by using H1 selector, then give it a black background. Let me remove all this one first. I don't want you to get confused. So first of all, I will give it what a background color of black. Let us see the effect of that. Once you go back to your browser, you will see that now everything in there is now a black background, but you cannot see your content any longer. Why? It is because the font color is also black. So black font blending with the black background. So everything will be black. For you to now view that HTML essential training, you go back to your CSS, you apply the font color, which is just color, right? Color. Let me comment this other two out. So you apply this font color, turn it to white. If you go back to your code, you will see that yes, we now have HTML essential training in white color. But go back to your requirement, you will see that the HTML essential training is right in the center, right? So you go back to your what's it called? Your CSS. Remember that this is what the content of H1. So you can therefore apply this test align property and give it a value of center, so that the content will now what go down, um move to the center of your document. If you go back to your browser, you will see that now it has gone to the center. It has centralized right in the middle of the page. Now, having done that, if you look at your model, you will see that there's a space here, there's a space here, right? And that is the purpose of what? The padding. So you now apply padding here to your H1, so that within that box, a space is given here, space is given here. And that is the reason we gave a padding here of 20 pixels. If I remove the dash dash and I apply that, if you go back to your browser, you will see that that has been applied. Now, having centered this, if you go back to your model, you will see this line right here. There are different ways you can achieve that. You can use your horizontal rule. Let us apply the horizontal rule and see what that will give us. If I go back to my HTML right after H1 and I do HR rule, remember it's a self-closing tag. Go back to your browser, go to yes, and you will see that you have exactly the same thing. Now, there's a way you can style this so that it will be thick, to be as thick as this, but I prefer to use border bottom to achieve the same thing, because it is easier for me to control, right? So, and that is the reason I now I enclosed this H1 in an header sectioning element. See, it's a judgment call. You can decide to do it in a different way. So so far the goal is achieved. The customer will still applaud you for a job well done. The end justifies the means, right? So now I will now come here, apply, enclose everything in the header sectioning element here. So I'm going to remove this one, put my header there, right? Now, once I've done this, right, I will now give this header a border. And that is the reason why I apply bottom border here. Let me remove this border first, and you will not see any effect of this header tag I used there. If you, as you can see, I have enclosed this H1 element within the header tag. Go to your code, and sorry, to your browser. Where is it again? This one. Yes. You will not see any effect. You won't see anything here. Why? Because it is a section element until you apply a CSS property to it. So let's go back to our code, which is the CSS now. So let me remove this data so that we can see the effect of this border bottom applied to that header box. So if you go back to your code, you can see the effect of that. So any question now?
No, I don't have any question.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, let us try to go to the topic of today. Let me see. I think I have it somewhere here. Hold on, please. Yeah, CSS. Okay. Yes, let's do this. if it is one of these we are going to achieve today. That's fine. What's time now? Is we have 9 more minutes. Now, we have been discussing about selectors in CSS. If you remember, I said you have your selector right, then you open your curly brace, then you push your property and value, just as you have it in this CSS. This is your selector, 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 and so on, and that selector, selector, and this selector. Similarly, if you remember that I said your CSS has declaration, right? And this declaration is divided into two, the property, and the value. Then your semicolon to separate this declaration from the next declaration, right? Another property and its corresponding value, then and so on and so forth. Like now, this is what? This is one declaration. This is another declaration, another declaration, another declaration, a declaration, a declaration, and so on and so forth, a declaration. Now, this declaration, let me clear my board. This declaration is now divided into two. This is your property, and this is your value. Right. So that is the composition of your CSS code. Your selector, the curly brace to show the boundary of your styling, right? Then you give it your property and your value. Now, we now want to discuss now on just this selector. I'm not sure. Let me see if I can go to a web page so that you will see how complex a selector can be. Let me see. Okay, let me see this. Okay, let's go to Google. Okay, let's see google.com anyway. Google.com. Okay, so let's go to the back end, right? To view it, to view the what's it called? The element and the CSS being applied to it. Now, if you look at this, you can see that these are selectors, right? And the property and the value. Property is font size, the value is 14 pixel. Now, if I go to all another, let me see where I can see a more complex styling here. Let me just click. Okay, this other is simple. Anyways, is a simple site. Let me go to maybe CNN.com. CNN.com. Okay. So now let's see something like let me see this one. Okay. Now look at this. Look at this. This is also a type of selector, right? This is also another type of selector, right? And this is also another type of selector here. Let me see where I can see a grouped or okay, hold on. Okay, this one too is still a combination of elements. All these one are grouped elements, right? Now the point is you can arrange if you want to target a specific element, right? Element can be so deep into the body of your page, and a good knowledge of your selector will give you the right to or empower you to be able to style your document effectively. What am I saying? Let's go back to our code. Let us see. Let me open a sample. Okay, I think I have this. Yes. Now let's see our index. Now now what I want you to learn this before you start styling any document. You need to first of all understand your structure. And what is your structure? Your HTML. Now look at this. You have your body tag. Your body tag encloses all this. Now you have H1, H2, P tag, and the ordered list as children to your body tag. Now, the grandchildren to body tag are your list. This list, yes, just the list. Now, if I need to target maybe just this LI, I don't want all the LIs to be styled. A good knowledge of my selector will help me to do that. Let us practicalize this. Now, if I run this, let's run it. I will try to clear all the styles so that we can see it as we go on. Let's see. Good. Let me remove the styling. I'll go. Is this? Oh yes, this is external sheet. So I'll come here. Oh, let me close this one. Oh, okay. Let me just do something. Okay. Now, let me comment out this. Comment out this. Comment out all this. Comment out this one too. Comment out this. Oh, okay. Then comment out this one. Let's go back to our browser and see. Okay, you can see everything is now just HTML. Now, let's go to the very first one. Now, group selector. Now, you can see group selector is combining more than one selector together, either two or more. For example, let's go back to our code. Let's just see what we can combine. Now, I want to style H1 and H2, right? Let's see, I want to give it a font color of red, these two at the same time. Now, I could have just say, I could have just said that I have my H1. I will say color red, and also I could have just said H2 color also red. Now, if I go to my browser, you will see that that red property, the color property has been applied. Oh,
Oh,
but, hello, yes?
I don't think I understand. I don't understand.
What don't you understand in what we have discussed so far?
Uh, about could you please go back to the code?
This is the code.
Uh,
The HTML or the CSS?
the HTML.
Okay, this is the HTML.
I don't think I just understand what you're doing.
What don't you understand there? At least bring me bring me up to your space. This is just a content I just created, right? It's just a content. If I remove, okay, let me remove the styling again. Go back to the browser. This is just it. Or you don't know how to achieve this again. H1, H2, right? Order list. Do you don't know order list?
I do.
You do. So what is surprising in this? I don't think there's anything surprising in this.
Mm,
It's just the normal thing that we have been doing, which is your H1, H2, then paragraph, then order list. That's all. Or is there any other person not understanding this?
No, but couldn't we have used this for the HTML essential training to like change the color to white?
Okay, you want me to use the essential training?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. So if you want me to use the essential training, let me go back there. Essential training. I think that is it. All right. So that means we are going to remove all the styling here so that we, okay, let's go, let's see this. Where is it? Let me copy this again. Okay. Go to the browser, put in there. Okay. So let me close this. All right. So now this is a familiar ground, right?
mm,
Good. Good. So now let us go back to our code. Let's see this. Now I have H2 here. I have a P tag here. Okay, I have another P tag here. So, but don't let me use P tag. Now, let's see this H2 and H3, right? I want to turn the H2 and H3 to red color. So now I will go to my CSS. I will come here, H2, I will say color red, red. And I will say H3, I will say color red also. Go back to my browser. Now, can you see what is happening? My intention is just to target this H2 and this other H3 here. But lo and behold, this has been changed. This is changed. But let us even leave it at that. Now, I want to talk about this, what is it again? This group selector. Now you can see that I wrote two different declaration for different elements. Now, because they have the same declaration, color of red, color set to red, and I'm writing the CSS in two places. In programming, we try not to repeat ourselves. Don't repeat yourself. Try. Don't repeat yourself. So now, in order not to repeat ourselves, since I'm only I'm trying just to give this this element color of red, I could have as well just group them together. I will just say H2, comma H3, and I will still have the same effect. Let's go back to our, you can see, refresh it, you can see. So this is grouping. I've been able to group these two together. If I remove this H3 from here, you will see that only H2 is styled red. But grouping the H2 and H3 together means I am telling the browser, anywhere you see H2, anywhere you see H3, give it a color of red. That is grouping. Any question on grouping? Let me see another one. Okay, let's see. This main, I want to give this main and div the same background color. Now I can just say, I'll come here, I'll just say main, comma, main and what again? Main and the div, yes. Am I right? Main, div, and div, yes. So I come here, main, comma, div. Then give it, say, a background color of, say, okay, let me just say beach, for example. So if I go back to my browser, you will see that it is tied. So now, if I say, okay, I don't want this div in there, you will see only the main is tiled. So you can group your elements, right? You can target them in group as shown or demonstrated in this example. Any question on grouping?
No, sir.
No.
No? Okay, no. Good. So,
Sorry, sir, I was going to ask, so if in, say like you've already grouped the, say like for example, the main and the div,
mhm,
and then you wanted to change something within the main and not the
mhm,
div, so
good.
can you still do that separately?
Exactly. Good. Very good question. Although my intention is to treat that the next class, but since you
Okay.
mentioned it, let's see. This is our main. Let's go back to our structure. Now, this is our main, right? Our main content is right here. Okay, I want to maybe change all the font size within the main. I want to increase it. I can easily come here, then target only the main. Say font size. Let me see. Let me just increase it to maybe 1.5 REM. Let's go back. You can see. Now, only the content of the main has been impacted by that style. So now we will discuss more on this. I know this will take us time because selector is the backbone of CSS. You need to be able to select a particular content within your structure and style it accordingly to your desired taste. So today we have discussed group selector, but just as Larry asked, you can even apply peculiar or specific styling to a particular element which you have even grouped together before then. I can say div. Okay, I want to give that also maybe, should I say, what can I do? Okay, let me just give it a bigger font size. Font size of say 3 rem. Let's see, you can see it's much bigger. Any question?
Uncle, just a
Yes.
free RM make just a free RM make it bigger or
Okay. Now let me explain. Although we are still going to talk about the unit system, but let me just give you a little idea. We have so many different units. You have the pixel unit, which is somehow fixed, right? Then we have what we call the EM and the roots EM. They are similar. These two are similar. The only difference is that now, in your browser, let me go to this browser, because if I do not do that, you may not understand. Now, in your browser, there is always a setting. I'm trying to see where I can get that setting. There is always a setting where, let me clear the board. There's a setting where the font size is always 16 pixel. I'm not sure. Okay, let me, no, appearance. The font size is always, most browser, the font size is always 16 pixel by default. Let me see. Okay, this is where you can, okay, this is not stated here, but I can, okay, good. You can see the moment I over it, you can see that value 16. The default is 16. You can decide to increase it. The font of your browser, and you can decide to decrease it depending on your desire. But the default is 16. Let me just take it back to 16. Good. Now, what am I doing? 16. Good. Now, having explained that, now what EM is doing is this. If you go back to this, EM is saying, let me annotate. EM is saying, now the default is 16 pixel. If I say 1.2 EM, what that is saying is that take whatever the default is, multiply it by 1.2, whatever value you have. If I take my calculator now, let me quickly multiply it. 16 times 1.2, that is 19.2. This simply means that the size of your font will now be 19.2 pixel. If you say, if you put it as maybe 0.5 em, what you are saying is that I want half of this, because 16 times 0.5 is 8 pixels. So what you are saying that I want the font size to be 8 pixels. So now that begs the question, why are we using em? It is for responsive. We are still going to discuss about it, right? It's to make your page responsive, right? So that in whatever device you are in, maybe is it a mobile device, tab device, laptop, desktop, or a very big monitor, the size of your font will adjust automatically. It will respond to the size of your screen. That is why EM, root M is being used. Now, the root M is somehow kind of tricky. Now, the root most of the time is the body, right? And these tend to now do the same thing what this one is doing to the default. So this will take the size of the body and multiply it by whatever value we put in there. Let's say we do 2 rem. So whatever value this is, it will multiply by 2. Then you have your value in pixel. We will discuss more about this later. So any question before you call it a day?
No question, thank you.
All right. So I don't know what assignment I'm going to give you now, but I'm going to think about it, because I didn't prepare for any assignment, because my goal is to explain that other assignment, and also to explain this what's it called, the selector to you. But I want you to do something for me. Now, okay, I wanted to stop the recording before, but let me go to you go to this website. Yes, this, I think, is this one. Is it this? No, this one. Yes. It's an online game, lookout.github.io, right? So it's the aim of this game is to help you understand selectors, right? Now, look at the instruction. It says, select the plate. Help, I am stuck. I'm going to use this just an example. So the select the plate. Now, this is the structure, right? Now, you are to select this plate. And if you look at it, there are 2 plates there. So for me to select the plate, I will simply type plate, right? Then possibly, let me see whether without the curly brace, it will go. I press enter, good. But let me see, okay, let me go back again. Let me see. Let me see whether if I put plate and the curly brace, plate and the curly brace, let me see whether it will go. Okay, it's not going. So it's just the selector. So it's saying select me. So, and that goes. Now look at this again. It says select the bento boxes. Look at your code. This is saying, okay, now you can see that you have two bentos here, right? Two bento, one bento tag here, another bento tag here. So it's saying select the bento boxes. So all I need to do is also to select that bento, right? It will take me to the next one. Now it's saying that select the fancy plate. Now this is the fancy plate. You can see that the plate is having what? An ID of fancy. So if I say I'm going to select the plate, just the plate, I will be wrong. You can see, because this selector will be selecting this plate and this plate. But the instruction is just select this plate only. And if you notice, only this plate has an ID of fancy. And this other plate does not have any ID. So I will need to target this, to select this ID. And for me to select this ID, remember to select ID in your in CSS, you do what? You do your pound sign, then the fancy, right? If you enter, it will select it. So I want you to give this a go before our next class. So, and I want to see the level everyone is able to reach, right? So this is your assignment.
Okay, great, thank you.
All right.
Yeah, but sir, for
Yes, ma'am.
Saturday,
Mhm.
I was just because it's getting quite close to Christmas.
Yeah, how good. Thank you. We discussed it actually. We discussed
Okay.
it. There will be a break after Saturday. So next week there won't be any class. First week
Okay.
in January there won't be any class. So there will be a two-week break after this Saturday.
Okay.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up.
Okay, thank you.
All
Okay,
right.
thank you. Bye.
All
Bye,
right.
everyone.
All right. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Bye, thank
Yeah.
you. God
Bye.
Thank
bless.
you, sir. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
God bless you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, sir,
Yes.
all we just have to do is just select the word of, like, the word code,
What word code? Let me stop
the
recording first.
just the